Hello and welcome to the channel. Gav Axman Spins. Today's video is vinyl finds for November part 2, the used stuff, the second hand, or as one description I saw on Instagram, somebody was commenting on somebody showing us some older records, the mouldy oldies. So this is the mouldy oldies section. Records bought in Bridgnorth. I'm going to plug a couple of shops. New one in Bridgnorth called Voodoo Valley Records, Carnival Records in the Malverns, and a nice shop in Leamington Spa, which is just called the Record Shop, and that's down the bottom of the hill by the spa-y bit in the park. So new one to me. So two out of three of those record shops were are new to me, so that was quite good. The one in Bridgnorth's not long open. So 20 odd records to get through. Prices, the most expensive was a whole 20 quid. That was a good one, and the majority of them were in the £5 section, but there was a nice little section in the Leamington Spa shop of 4 for a tenner, so there's a couple of £2.50 bargains. So I thought I'd start with one that was in the mid-price, and then we'll go through some of the cheaper stuff, and we'll end up with the more expensive at the end, and I'll show you what at the end I think is probably the best one. At the end of the video as well, I'll also reveal the December theme on the channel. There's been a few guesses this month. So Dave Atkinson, very good guess actually, but he was actually far cleverer than my cryptic clue. Wob Walker got very close, so he wasn't far off. So but I will reveal the theme and what the clues were in the last video, which was the November finds part 1. So without further ado, a £10 1990s record on the Creation label, with an Oasis connection. So the album is Heavy Stereo, Deja Voodoo, and most unusual to find anything from the 1990s in the used bins. The Oasis connection, for those who want to have a guess, the guitarist that replaced Bonehead, Jem Archer, this was his band. So got the original inner on the very nice custom creation-y kind of label. So I managed to pick this up on CD in the 2000s for like £1, and then I found the album for a tenner, which for an original 1990s vinyl on Creation is pretty good to find. So it's not a bad album. That's him on the cover. So Oasis fans, there's a bit of an obscurity, but I was kind of quite surprised to spot that. It was reduced from 30 to 10, so away it did come with me. So pleased with that one. So that was great. So sticking with the Creation Records one, now this is a great little find. So this is what I call the budget bargain. £2.50 this was, and this is a sampler for Creation Records, doing it for the kids. It kind of says on the sticker there, a 15-track compilation for the price of a 7-inch single from Creation, and even better, it's got the £1.99 original price tag on it. And what I love about this is it had the original plasticky. Creation didn't use these type of inner sleeves, they used like clear plastic ones, but it was a little bit battered, so I've replaced it, but it's got that original black plain Creation label. So some of the bands on here are fabulous. So I'll hold it up for you to kind of see, but it's probably easier for me to just shout a few out. So obviously one of my absolute favourites, The House of Love with Christine, great song. Primal Scream, All Fall Down, I think that was an early an A side, and was Velocity Girl on the B side of that, can't remember. The brilliant Felt, they're on here. My Bloody Valentine, Cigarette in My Bed's the song there. So those are ones I've heard of. Biff Bang Pow, which I think was Alan McGee's band. So there you go. So Creation Records, £2.50. So in since the 1990s, it's risen in value by whole 51 pence. So can't knock it though, can you? So very pleased to get that one. I'm going to go now into the my tribute to the White album, because all of these are, actually that's no good to show you that, but all of the covers are white. So now, what's the downside about white album covers? Is they get dirty over time. So when you find them in immaculate kind of condition, it is most surprising. So this was a whole £2.50 as well. Now the camera won't pick this up, but it's all embossed. Oh, actually it did actually. Bit of embossment going on with that one. Now this is the very first Spandau Ballet album. Now why, I hear you cry, are you buying Spandau Ballet albums? Me and Mrs. Gav Axman Spins are quite big kind of 80s fans. That's our kind of era. And the Kemp brothers do some really good spoof documentaries at the moment. So they come on around Christmas time in the UK, and they take the mick out themselves incredibly well. Very, very funny. They're like spoof, kind of following what they're up to now. But many years ago, when I was a younger man, I used to go to a great bar in Birmingham, which was down a flight of stairs into like a basement bar. The toilets were horrendous. That was probably the one of the worst toilets experience you ever have, because they always flooded. But the bar was brilliant. It was packed to the rafters. The DJ, it was all vinyl, and it really, this was in the 90s, and it kind of harked back to the alternative 80s stuff. Now I was far too young to been around when New Romantics were at the height and stuff like that. But the DJ would always play things like the Water Boys, U2, Simple Minds. But he did also play some great kind of synth pop and stuff like this. So this album's great. It's the debut. It's got Muscle Bound on it, which is a great track, to cut a long story short. So I saw that for a whole £2.50 in immaculate condition, and could not leave it behind. So sticking to the white theme, another one that was a few quid. Now this I was basically, I've been after this for years. This is a local musician to where I grew up, and particularly my dad grew up. And whenever I've seen this album, it's been in terrible condition. Never normally very expensive, but because of the style of cover, it always looks like somebody's kicked it around the playground for a bit. So this is Roy Wood of The Move, ELO's first couple of albums, and Wizard. And as we're hitting December, he's probably making a lot of money again, because it's Christmas every day for him. But this is his debut solo album on the Harvest label, and he played every instrument on this. Again, I've been looking for one of these for years, never spotted one. Because the condition's never been good, but this one is absolutely pristine. So it's on the Harvest, and it's a proper bonkers album actually. It's I'm a big fan of the first ELO album, and there's a song on there that Paul Weller ripped off horrendously for the Changing Man. But this is just bananas, but in a good way. So very eccentric, but well worth a listen, and I'm very pleased to finally get that one, and at a very, very low price. Now, the last of my little white album trilogy, this was a couple of quid, the Immortal Cat Stevens, and I saw a review of this album. I think it's just been reissued on Phil Aston's Now Spinning magazine channel, and for many years I've resisted Cat Stevens like the plague, really, because as a child of the 70s, we used to have school assemblies and used to have to sing hymns, but the hipper teachers started introducing a few pop songs and stuff like that. So Morning Has Bloomin' Broken was played, not played, sorry, you had to sing it at least once a week in school assemblies. So didn't go to a Christian school, but a traditional sing song in the morning we did every morning. And I couldn't listen to Cat Stevens for about 40 years thereafter, and all of a sudden I was gifted a copy of the album where the opening track is The Wind. Might be T for the Tillerman, something like that. I can't remember the album, but that song's beautiful. It was just used in a TV show, so I've been on a little mini Cat Stevens trip. So Phil did a review of this on his channel, and the opening, what piqued my interest is the side one is a continuous track. It's one long song just called The Foreigner Street, and when I was doing a bit of Wikipediaing, it said that Coldplay had to pay him a load of royalties because he sued them because they nicked part of that suite for the Viva La Vida song, the one that whatever, you know the song. So I thought, oh, and they absolutely did rip him off. But this is really unusual. It's a great album actually, because you get the normal traditional kind of inner. You get though a big thick, it's literally a piece of cardboard as an inner. Got a lovely painting of a polar bear. I assume the idea was you could have framed that and put it on your wall. Got the lyrics, and you also get a couple of postie cards. So so really that was about £3 in immaculate condition. So I was well happy with that, and it's a really good album. So yeah, so my Cat Stevens purchasing is back in kind of full effect, so pleased to get that one. And again, a white sleeve that isn't scuffed and dirty and horrible. So again, it's a bit of embossing there. Will the camera pick up the embossing? I don't know. I've having to film videos now with lights on, so hopefully if you're watching this in HT, it's not too horrendous. HD even. But yeah, so it's winter in it here. So Christmas time is in full effect over here. So what came next? I hear you cry. So another £2.50 bargain. Now, excuse me. This one I was pleased with. It's a very common album, so it's not rare or anything. But I do like, when I was first buying records, there was loads of budget labels. There was the Fame label. There was also something called Priceless. So this is one of their releases. And they used to do like budget versions of very popular album, and I think that'd be like $2.99 or something like that. So XTC, 10cc, I'm having a bad day today, aren't I? 10cc, the original soundtrack, in absolutely great condition. This one, I don't think it was played like some of these budgety albums. I think people bought them and then didn't really give them a spin. But £2.50, the original soundtrack, which of course has I'm Not in Love on it, one of the greatest songs of all time, maybe. Who knows? So that was a good one. Right. So we've done the first Spandau Ballet album. So lordy me, what did I find on my travels? The second one. Yay. So this one's got chant number 1 on it, Instinction. She lovely like the diamond. So again, that was cheap as chips. So I kind of bought that. So my wife had already got the True album and her singles album. So we've got the first two now to join them. So I think I might buy one more, and that's probably me and the Spandaus completed. So I've got to have a coffee because I've got a cough. Right. Here we go then. So 1974, the greatest rock music film ever made, according to Mark Commode, was released. Midlands connection again. So the Immortal Slade, In Flame, thus prescribed because they were playing a fictional band in the film called Flame. No cup of soup's in sight, but it's actually a good gritty movie. And if you're a fan of the David Essex one, that'll be The Day in Stardust. It's well worth watching, Slade in Flame. And the album's actually pretty good. I listened to this yesterday. There's a great song that opens it called How Does It Feel? The other single from the album was Far, Far Away. It's a good song, but pretty much everything in between is pretty good as well. And the film is just brilliant. So yeah, Slade in Flame, £2.50. Nice, it's a laminated Polydor original. Played beautifully, so we're happy with that. Right, so these are now coming out in no particular order. A bit of an 80s section coming up. Excuse me. ABC, The Best Of, £5. Poison Arrow, The Look of Love, All of My Heart, Tears Not Enough. And then the second side, When Smokey Sings, Be Near Me. So yeah, can't knock that for a £5, can you? So pleased with that one. A couple of more cheapies. I think these are in the £4 section. So got the first album of this band. I've been picking these up. I think they've been reissued a little bit lately, so I'm starting to spot some of the originals. Maybe people who are getting rid of their older copies and trading them in. Now they've got newer copies. But the second Ultravox album, I do like a bit of Ultravox actually. It's got The Voice on it, with Stand Alone, The Thin Wall. That's a good song. So a bit of Ultravox. And then this is a slightly later one, which has the Immortal Dancing with Tears in My Eyes on it, which is a great song. There you go. That's called Lament. Won't really show up very well on there, but again, next to nothing. Excuse me, I'm going to have another drink. For some reason I've developed a cough in the middle of this video. Here we go. Bryan Adams. Reissue on the back of Reckless of his, I think, second album, Cuts Like a Knife. been after that for donkey's years. The only Brian album I've ever had is Reckless on CD or vinyl, and but I really like the title track Cut Like a Knife, so £4 again. Now the next one's a bit of a bargain, prog fans. So Peter Gabriel did a few soundtracks, and I picked this one up for a £5, and it is the soundtrack to the film Birdie, which recycles a lot of tracks, I think, from his 3rd and 4th album. But yeah, really pleased to get that, and got that at all in my collection. Here's an 80s banger. So I've picked up a few of this guy's albums recently. I think probably in terms of vinyl, this will be the last one I need, because after this album they get harder and harder to find, because it's well into the CD area, and he had a massive break at some point in the 90s where he didn't release anything. But the wonderful Billy Idol with I think it's Charmed Life. Yeah, Charmed Life. So got Cradle of Love, I think was the big single from this, from 1990, but very good condition, so pleased with that one. Now this one was a good one. The next one, this is another £5, and what was good about this, when I kind of flipped the record open, not only did it have the vinyl look fine, it's still got the booklet, but tucked away inside was the obi strip, which apparently is quite hard to find, and it probably was used because the back cover, which I've just twigged, has some nakedness, so I think the obi was done so they could cover a certain offending body part that's staring me in the face now. So there you go, the best of Robert Palmer, £5 with the obi. Pleased with that one. Now the next one, this is quite sad where I bought this, because I've got this band's stuff on CD, but I've only bought the first couple of albums on vinyl. And the singer of this band and the songwriter is not particularly well at the moment. He's facing quite a hard battle with cancer. So it's Mike Peters and the band of The Alarm. So I think this is their 3rd album. It's got Rain in the Summertime on it. But Rescue Me is another good song from this. But I thought my Alarm collection is a little bit lacking on vinyl, so I picked that one up. But Mike Peters, singer, he lives quite close to a friend of mine, and apparently he's a really nice guy. He sees him in Sainsbury's all the time and stuff like that. But don't tell anyone. But it has been known that quite a lot of rock luminary turns up in this village where he lives, and is spotted in the pub, including the U2 frontman Bono. So he's often spotted at Mike Peters' house. So there you go, keep quiet about that, don't tell anyone. So but yes, hopefully I'll try and find some more though. The one I want to get is the New South Wales, is it called Change? Got that New South Wales song. So but pleased to find that. So what have we got next? I hear you cry. Again, this was cheap. So I've been, if you've watched any of these Finds videos, I always say, oh, I've picked up the last Rolling Stones album I'll ever need, and lo and behold, I then go and find another one. So when the Stones left Decca Records and set up their own records at the end of the 60s, Decca kind of went nuts in terms of compilations, and there's tons of them. But I think this may well be the final one that I hadn't got, and I kind of buy them just for completeness. But this was a £5. It plays beautifully. One side has a load of live tracks from the Got Live If You Want It album, but the first side is like a comp of singles and stuff from the late 60s. So Gimme Shelter, nothing to do with the film, just a cash-in. Side one, Jumping Jack Flash, Love in Vain, Honky Tonk Women, Street Fighting Man, Sympathy for the Devil, and Gimme Shelter. So what a great side that is, and as I say, £5, can't knock that. Played beautifully. Right, so the next one is the last of the cheapies, and then we'll work our way up to the most expensive album I bought, which was a 1990s one. Only 20 quid, but you know, it was a good buy actually. Now this was bought for my wife, who for some reason has suddenly declared undying love for this band. But we played the album actually the other night, and it's absolutely brilliant. So this is Hue and Cry with their debut, and it's called Seduced and Abandoned, I think. Yeah, hard to read because it's in a circle, so I'm not quite sure how to say. Yeah, Seduced and Abandoned. But it's got, obviously the big single was Labour of Love, but the actual whole album, this is really, really good. So again, I think that was like £6, something like that. But that was actually a present for my wife. So but it's so good, I'll probably nick it. But there you go. Right then, so we're going to go up in price. So we're going now to, I think, £8. Now this is one you don't see very often, and I've never seen it before. It's a reissue, it's not an original. but a bit of folky stuff for people that like a bit of folky stuff. As I say, I haven't bought a lot of folk up until the last probably 6 or 7 years, but it started with a bit of Fairport Convention, then a bit of Pentangle, then some of the Richard Thompson stuff, but I've progressed now to the Incredible String Band, and this is the Hangman's Beautiful Daughter. So it's a reissue. It's on Electra, but it's on the red Electra label, but that I think was again pretty reasonably priced, so pleased to find that one. Right, this was a good one. This is a 1974 album again. It's not quite a first pressing, but second or third, something like that. Wonderful Queen with their second album. Now I have got obviously copies of this already, but this is the advantage of this one is it has the original lyrics still in there, which I'll try and find for you, coming out. So it's on that nice EMI label. Still got the lyric sheet in here. Sometimes this is my favourite Queen album, so there you go. So you have the white side and the black side, but the sleeves in immaculate condition. The vinyl was very good as well, and that was a tenner, which you rarely see that album for a tenner. It's more like a £20 kind of album, so pleased with that one. Now the next one, been after this for absolutely ages on vinyl. For some reason it's the I've got a CD box set of this band, but I haven't really got anything else. And this one I very rarely see, I think because it's got the song Don't Fear the Reaper on, and obviously when you're talking about Halloween that one's always played. But Blue Oyster Cult with Agents of Fortune, nice gatefold on that one again, and that was just over, I think it might have been about 12 quid, but rarely see it and finally tracked a copy down. So 21 minutes in, that's quite good because there were 21 albums, so that's one a minute. So this is probably the find of November. Then this is strange because this was in a record shop where the cheap stuff was expensive, which is bizarre. So things like those 80s albums were like £8-9, which I didn't buy any of that from that shop. But some of the what you would expect to be higher ticket items were not so expensive. So when I spotted this one, and it had a little tiny sticker on it saying near mint, and I thought, oh, so 20 quid this did cost. So it's on the Virgin Records label. It's a 1990s album, so 1990s vinyl you rarely see because it started to kind of be phased out, and you rarely see it at good prices. But this is Lenny Kravitz on the Virgin Record label, great label. His third album, Are You Gonna Go My Way? Now, I don't know what happened to me in the 1990s, because when I bought this album on CD back in the day, I remember me and my mate bought it, and we both went, it's not as good as his first two, and that it starts with the title track, which is obviously a great song, and then we didn't think much of anything else thereafter. And it's been filed away on the old CD shelves under the last album I kind of bought by this person. And then when I bought this, and I thought, oh, I've got the first two on vinyl, I might get this for the title track, and also I knew 20 quid was a good price for this. I played this the other night, and it's a fabulous album. It's a really good album. So I don't know what I was thinking of in 1993. I was probably in a Britpoppy kind of phase, but Lenny, I apologise, this was actually a decent album. So Just Be a Woman's a good song, Believe is a good one. The first song on side 2, Is There Any Love in Your Heart? It's great. Sister, it's a really good solid album on that lovely Virgin Records repro label from, I think that was this kind of label I used in the 70s to start with. So well happy to find that, and that was £20. And that concludes the probably the find of the month, the mouldy oldies used vinyl stack. So theme for December then. So the clue, so the picture clue that was on my, I did like a community post, and I did it in the last video, I flashed it on the screen. Dave Atkinson said tying the knot, so he wasn't far off because it was a piece of string. Very good guess, but it was nothing to do with married couples in music. Rob got close because he said loose ends, because it was a piece of string, but it was actually a piece of thread. And what happens in the vinyl community in December, end of year threads, tags and all that. So the other clues were the t-shirt I was wearing was the Beatles on their last photo section, so that's the end of the year, blah blah blah. The Cure album, the last song is called End Song. There you go. And obviously what happens with threads, there's a start and an end. So so in terms of the channel, I'm just going to do loads of thread videos. So I've been plotting them out all week. So I had 3 to do. I've now got 6 to do because there seems to be thread videos popping up left, right and centre on the VC in December, including the 2025 official, not unofficial, official tag. So I'll do that because it's official. So I'll be doing that at some point because you got it, it's official, isn't it? So I'm doing that. There's loads of others, there's tons of threads, so that one's caught me out because that should normally comes at the end of the year. It's now for some reason come right at the start of December, so got to get to work on that. So it's kind of not messed up my plans, but here it goes, but it's official. So yes, I'm going to do the vinyl tag. I've got at least 3 other, there might be threads, tag responses, picking up responses to other videos. So that's that. I'm going to finish off the, which is the end bit, the U2 singles shorts I've been doing. I'm going to try and do the shorts a little bit better from January because I've been watching the short game in the VC. Morton, Jack have been doing much better shorts than I have, so I'll need to raise my short game a little bit. I do quite enjoy doing the shorts. They're dead easy, but you know, people like them, so do some more shorts. So I'm going to finish that one, start the new one in Jan. I'm going to start a thread, which is why it's a thread, ending something, starting others, around a very, very popular author who features throughout his work loads of music references, and whilst reading a book of his, as a clue, I noted, I thought, I wonder how I've got that record, and then I got that. I thought, crikey, you know what? I wonder how many records I've got that this guy references. So that'll be starting. Now that could take me about 70 years to finish because the guy has wrote 73 books. So I've got a bit of a backlog reading. I thought I'd do the videos as I read the books. So I'm 4 down. So I've got at least 4 videos to do on that one. But it might, at the rate of knots, it's took me 7 months to read 4 books. So and I've got to get through 73. Could take me some time. But yeah, so that's what's happening. Rambly. But there you go. Thank you for watching if you've made it this far. Stay tuned. Thread responses, vinyl tag 2025, all of that stuff will be forthcoming. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing if you already are. If you've made it to 27 minutes and 44 seconds so far and you have yet to subscribe, please do, because it's still a small channel. All support is gratefully recognised, and I do respond to comments and that type of stuff. So thanks for watching. Hopefully that hasn't been too painful, and I'll see you on the next one. I better remember to press my button again, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.